So why did the chicken cross the road? Probably to get away from somebody trying to slaughter it at 12 weeks old. Or if it's a male chick at about 12 minutes old. But anyway, who crossed the road first? Was it the chicken or was it the egg? Are you sure it's okay to film here? Okay, let's get on with it. Hi, I'm Angus, and you may well know me from earlier work such as Environmental Hypocrites and 9 More Things to Be Angry About. Or Why Does Everybody Hate Cyclists? But today I'm here to talk to you about chickens and eggs and how harvesting the latter may not be as innocent as we think, and why industrial farming and genetic modification of these almost flightless, harmless birds is destroying our environment.
Oi, stop bothering my chickens!
Oh shit.
Shut off! Oi,
Okay, so I think this is a
bothering
good
my
time to
chickens.
go over to the studio
Private land.
with Angus. So why did the chicken cross the road? I have no idea, but I do know why it will lay so many eggs. Artificial selection, human-caused evolution, selective breeding, genetic engineering. Let me explain what I mean by that. And to do that, we need to go back around 8,000 years to Southeast Asia, where our ancestors first discovered our power over red and grey jungle fowl and started domesticating them. First, bizarrely, for fighting, and then for food. Once we figured out that both chicken meat and chicken eggs were edible and also a source of protein, it was eventually the Romans that started selectively breeding them in earnest for both egg laying and meat production. And this is really where our modern relationship with chickens as a food source, rather than fighting cocks or indeed sentient beings, really began. Before Roman times, a chicken would ovulate about 12 times a year, i.e. lay around 12 eggs a year, rather like human females' periods, with both requiring the male cock to fertilise the eggs. See what I did there? Anyway, so by selectively breeding the chickens that laid more than a dozen eggs a year and chickens that grew really quickly, we have arrived at a place today where a modern female egg-laying chicken enjoys up to 250 periods a year without ever being fertilised. And a meat chicken, or a broiler chicken as they are known, that grows to full maturity within 12 weeks and is slaughtered before ovulation. Essentially, single-purpose chicken breeds. So, if, like me, you are one of those people who doesn't like the idea of genetically modified food, our easy and blind acceptance of modern chicken farming and the beef and dairy industry are both perfect examples of our hypocrisy. Now, if we just forget the morality of artificially engineering sentient beings in this brave new world sort of dystopia to ovulate 20 times more than nature intended, or fattening them up to be slaughtered for our dining pleasure at between 8 and 12 weeks old, before they reach maturity and before they ovulate at all. It is the industrialisation of this process, just like the beef and dairy industry, that has become environmentally unsustainable. But before we go there, let's spare a thought for the male chicks born into this chicken nightmare, this chicken hell, this Dante's chicken inferno. They are sorted by hand soon after they've been hatched, rather like the whale suddenly created in space in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, who only gets a sense of who he is before seconds later hitting the ground.
It is important to note that suddenly, and against all probability, a sperm whale had been called into existence several miles above the surface of an alien planet. And since this is not a naturally tenable position for a whale, this innocent creature had very little time to come to terms with its identity. This is what it thought as it fell.
Ah! Whoa! What's happening? Who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose in life? What do I mean by who am I? Okay, calm down, get a grip now. Ooh, this is an interesting sensation. What is it? It's a sort of a tingling in my... Well, I suppose I better start finding names for things. Let's call it, tail. Yeah, tail. And hey, what's this roaring sound? Whooshing past what I'm suddenly going to call my head. Wind. Is that a good name? It'll do. Yay, this is really exciting. I'm dizzy with anticipation. Or is it the wind? There's an awful lot of that now, isn't there? And what's this thing coming towards me very fast? So big and flat and round, it needs a big wide-sounding name like ow, ound, round, ground. That's it, ground. I wonder if it'll be friends with me. Hello, ground.
Like the best jokes, I love the uncomfortable humour of that clip, but I think it takes on a new resonance when you watch it next to this one. As sure as night follows day, which only happens 365 times a year, another one of the 5 billion chicks born in captivity every year was hatched on an alien conveyor belt and only had a few moments to come to terms with its identity before it had to come to terms with not being a chick anymore. This is what it thought. Oh, what's happening? Excuse me, who am I? What are we? What are we doing here? What is our purpose in life? What do I mean by who am I? Calm down, get a grip now. Oh, this is an interesting sensation, being carried along. What are those lights? I hope I'm going somewhere nice. Oh, what's this? Careful, ouch. I think I've hurt my foot. Perhaps I'm going to a doctor. Or to see my mother. Actually, this is quite exciting, like a roller coaster. Up, and now down. I'm dizzy with anticipation. I wonder if I can make friends when we get to the end. Immediately after they are hatched, but long enough for them to have that initial sense of joy, wonderment, and that wide-eyed curiosity that you see in human infants, baby chicks are sorted by hand and are either gassed, which is relatively humane, or are macerated alive. There is nothing humane about any of this, and nothing humane about our relationship with chickens, or even, if you think about it, eating their unfertilized eggs. But seriously, enough of that. I'm here to talk to you about the environmental cost rather than the morality of our unsustainable appetite for chickens and eggs. And it really is unsustainable, with more than 50 billion chickens slaughtered for their meat every single year. This is a big problem. And this is happening all over the world. But let's look at the River Wye here in the UK. That up until a few years ago was a beautiful, meandering natural oasis of biodiversity, but is now essentially a sewer due to the proliferation of chicken farms all along or near its banks. And it is on the verge of irreversible decline. Wake up! Irreversible decline, irreversible! The Wye Valley has become one of the UK's largest concentrations of industrial livestock production. There are now more than 20 million chickens in this area, a tiny fraction of the 50 billion worldwide. The phosphorus levels in the water are already causing serious ecological deterioration, and yet there are plans to build still more of these chicken farms in this same area. This is not backyard chicken that we give cute names like Margaret Hatcher, Cluck Norris, Albert Eggstein, Meryl Cheap or Clementine and think of as family pets that eat our waste food and potato peelings. We are talking about intensive farming on such an industrial scale that it is destroying the very rivers that we rely on to keep balance with nature, our waterways, our drinking water and our very own life support systems. Like oil, gas, beef, almond milk or avocados, this is not an environmentally scalable business model, let alone a humane one. Yet many people watching this will still be heading to the supermarket, butchers, KFC, some other cheap fried chicken outlet, or have a bar snack to go with your cold beer and expect to pay pennies for a spicy chicken wing, drumsticks, spatchcock chicken, chicken curry, chicken Maryland, coq au vin, or a fucking chicken nuggets for the kids. Like it is someone else's job to cut down. It's not someone else's job. It's your job and it's my job to reduce demand on this toxic business of chicken farming and slaughter. Because what is happening in the Wye Valley is just a tiny fraction. It's a tiny fraction of the world's chickens, not even a tenth of 1%. This is a global issue and a truly global environmental disaster that affects every single one of us. But that's just what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. How humane do you think industrial chicken farming really is? What would you do to cut down on your consumption of chicken? And if you have not already done so, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to show me some love by cutting out your Cupid's arrow and shooting the like button. And you can also share this video across any of these social media platforms. Doing all or any of these things really does help me reach a wider audience and hopefully affect positive change. But more importantly, please do consider eating less chicken and less eggs. Breeding any animal to ovulate 250 times a year, even if they are free range, is not something we should be proud of. And don't get me started on extra large eggs. Just think about it. Look, if you've enjoyed this video and found it useful or just weirdly compelling, you might like this one, or indeed this one. Happy hens, happy fucking hens. How long are they actually happy for? 8 or 12 weeks if we eat them? And we think this is normal. There is nothing normal about this. It's barbaric. Yeah, I might take that out.